Welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. It's 1989 once again. Taylor Swift fans are singing along to the re-released version of her classic album, 1989, Taylor's Version. The album was originally recorded in 2014, and it has some of Swift's biggest hits, including Shake It Off and Blank Space. It earned 10 Grammy nominations in 2016, and Swift took home 3, including Album of the Year. Swift says 1989 was her most favorite re-record yet because of the insane vault tracks. Those are previously unreleased songs, and 1989 has 5 of them. Swift announced in 2019 that she planned to re-record her first 6 albums after her former label sold the master recordings to her. The re-release of 1989 isn't the only thing Swift is celebrating. Bloomberg says the star has reached billionaire status. An analysis from Bloomberg shows Swift's total net worth has reached $1.1 billion. Swift is one of the few entertainers to reach that status based on just her music and performances. Her Eras tour is set to gross an estimated $2.2 billion in North American ticket sales alone. The Beatles split up over 50 years ago, but they still have one more song left to share with the world. The 2 surviving Beatles members, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, finished a song the late John Lennon wrote called Now and Then. Lennon wrote and recorded the song in 1970. McCartney, Starr, and George Harrison later worked on it in the mid-90s. Harrison died in 2001. Now, McCartney and Starr finished what they're calling the last Beatles song. The song features the original vocals recorded by Lennon. McCartney and Starr say hearing the crystal clear voice of Lennon on the completed track was a profound experience. You can listen to Now and Then beginning November 2nd. The final episodes of The Crown will roll out this November. It chronicles Princess Diana's blossoming relationship with Dodi Fayed and the fervent press and paparazzi, all while the royal press team adds fuel to the fire. Elizabeth Debicki wows as the late princess and looks just like her. Part 1 of the 6th and final season premieres November 16th on Netflix. Actor Kirsten Vangsness and playwright Justin Elizabeth Sayre are bringing the story of Lizzie Borden to life, sort of. Lottie Took a Hatchet is showing at the Los Angeles LGBT Center. Critics say it's mixing comedy with several real-life events.
I want to begin with you, Justin, and ask you why you felt the Lizzie Borden story was rife for this particular treatment in Lottie Took a Hatchet.
Well, I had always been interested in Lizzie Borden. I thought I think as a kid, I thought I was going to solve it and crack the code, you know. But when after the years in pandemic, I've been writing a lot, doing these kind of camp send-ups of different things. And when thinking about writing something for Edinburgh and for a small group of us to do this, the Lizzie Borden story really kind of hit me hard. And there's so many layers to what both Lizzie Borden represents and also what went on in the case. This kind of very strong anti-immigrant feeling that was held up in the press and held up in the trial. And as mostly an Irish mutt myself, I thought, oh, that's fascinating. Wouldn't that be interesting to do? And also just, you know, there's been so many not questions, but so many kind of such a reckoning around female bodily autonomy. Mm-hmm. And I wondered what it would be like to take this kind of female anti-hero and deal with not only her body autonomy, but how women were treated in that period, and also kind of draw questions about how women are treated in our period. And that really kind of felt like a fun ground in which to play, to really kind of kick up the comedy, make something really uncomfortable, make something really funny, but also kind of leave you with, oh wow, we're still kind of doing the same things when we kind of battle with the patriarchy has very few moves. Do you know what I mean? They've never really figured out too many extra ones. So to still be battling the same ones, you got to see that, you know, they got 2 moves. We keep falling for them. So.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you so much for that. And then, Kirsten, would you talk a little bit about your initial reaction to seeing this script and thinking about playing Lottie?
I read 2 pages and I threw it across the room and I was like, there is nope, nope. And then it was over there. And then I was like, I need to finish that. Cause I had such a reaction when I started it. I was like, I'm afraid of it, and, I think sometimes, cause it was so, it's such a wonderful play because you start and you're like, what have I gotten myself into? And then it unfolds and there's a payoff almost immediately. And then there's more of a payoff. And then there's more of a payoff. And then you're like, oh. It's very exciting because it's like because at first you don't realize that like you're part of the joke. And then I read 3, 4, the rest of the play pages. And I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this play because I'm going to use kind of a slur, but to me, it's kind of like sissy take back. There's something about it that it's so funny and it's so beautifully written, but like it just sings on so many levels. But one of the things is this idea that feminine bent creatures, no matter how you show up, if you're not part of, a card playing member of like the top end of the patriarchy, you lose. And what's cool about this play is that it really spins all of that. And not to give away the ending, but we all must remember, the opposite of patriarchy. Matriarchy is not like, oh, the woman is in charge and everybody's below her. The feminine bent and I will say the queer way of doing things is in community. And I think that the way this play is written, the way it was rehearsed, the way my fellow actors are, the way Jess is, it's very community, matriarchal. The whole thing is it's so deliciously queer. How many times I've sat in rehearsal, looked around and be like, this is what the Republicans are afraid of. And it's everything I want. This is everything I want and it's so wholesome and strange and in its own beautiful, queer, crazy way. And it's been such a joy and it's so cathartic. It's so, as a female identifying creature, it is incredibly cathartic, but I think it's cathartic for anybody who feels like they are somehow not part of the, just heteronormative cisgendery, like up here. There's just something, it's just a real gift that it's written and that we get to do it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that, Kirsten. And Justin, I want to talk to you a little bit about, you really go there with some of these topics that, we don't talk about anymore. And I don't want to compare, but I will say the last time I felt like I was watching something this wild that touched on topics and used some of the terms that you're using in this show was seeing a Charles Bush show. And then and I know Charles Ludlam was an influence on you from what I've read anyway. So I wonder, would you talk a little bit about having the will to go there and touch on topics that are taboo?
Well, I think that and that's a huge compliment, and I want to take a minute to appreciate that, because Charles Bush is also someone that I care very deeply about, and whose work is up there in my own work. I think that why you want to push it there is because I think that's what the theater does in the most evocative way. You have to sit with people in the theater. You have to be in kind of community with them in a way that you can have isolation in television and film, because the things are projected on you and at you. In the theater, you're kind of sitting with folks and you're living with them and experiencing things with them. That to me is talking really about, much to what Kirsten said about a queerness that is power, that links us together. And within Bush and within certainly Ludlam, we want to, we're not playing, we're playing these characters. We keep our beards. We're doing what, it's the glory of pretend. But we're going to take you there, and I think take you there in exciting ways where you feel safe and held and laughing at. You can't kind of believe what you're laughing at.
You can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.